Gamer Dude 2088, and we're back for another episode of Back to Square One. In the last episode, we are kind of covering somewhat of the units and things, the characters and all of that was using. But in this one, we're going to get a little in depth into some of the room build mistakes that we all make, and let me just go right into exactly what I'm talking about. Like, let's just say you so happen to pop the Mystic Scroll and you pull the monster. And the monster you pull happened to be the Wind Sky Dancer. And okay, now you got the Wind Sky Dancer. You spend all this time farming to awaken her, and you got Chisun. And what we do, and the mistakes that we make, is we go to this little suggestion, and we get into this little suggestions, we look at it, and we see this right in this section where the person said they using violent, endure, and where we get messed up at is we see violent, like even here, violent. Like, sometimes I see the suggestions and it be some legitimate good suggestions, but what these people don't say when they make these suggestions is this a mid to late game build, or is this an early game build? So we get this in our head that we have to farm for violent runes. So we go to look, where do we get violent runes from? We go all the way back, and we go here. We check out Carol's dungeon. Let's see, we check this out, and we see violent runes is the main thing we get from the dragon's lair. So what we do, we start farming dragons, and we get into dragons, and we get these 2 and 3-star runes early on in the game and put them on violence. Oh yeah, now I get a million turns. My monster is the best monster in the world.
Fuck no. Your monster's shit right now. Just complete garbage.
And the reason why is because you haven't got your starter runes. Like, and this is what I was saying in the previous video about you starting your Giants team, because you're not quite ready for the dragons. Granted, you can do all these early game dragons, but you don't really focus on dragons until you're on a mid game level. If you can't go straight in on dragons B8, which really you should just be going directly to B10, you don't need to be focusing on dragons, period. Like, that's not even, and we're not going to even get into Necropolis. But just saying, like, that's not important. And we make this mistake, and we farm for these runes, so we get all of what the dragon gives you. So now you're getting violent runes, and you get the focus runes, and the revenge, and all this stuff. You get this, so now you think you can do these violent revenge builds, and you got these garbage runes. So now this is holding you back, because you're missing out on the runes that's going to be most important to start off with. And when we get these runes, and we try to push directly into Karos when we start, but in all actuality, before you even get into Giants, you need your first 4-star rune builds. And where you get them from? Your scenario maps. Like, I recommend to everybody that I have shown how to play this game is to get in here in White Lagoon and on Hell mode whenever you're able to farm it on Hell mode, and get your first Swift set. Like, I mean, gate at point 1, you gate, that's your one slot, your 2 slot, your 3 slot. Each one gives you the slot that you need. And the final 1 to 7, you are able to get 5-star runes on Hell mode, but I don't recommend it, because you're going to get your 5-star runes from Karos. But you want your full 4-star, and you're able to make full sets. You're able to make a full, complete set for each of your monsters, and you want to stay in this area. Like, once you need, this one gives you Fatal, right? Yeah, Fatal. You get your first 4-star Fatal set, your first 4-star Fatal set here, and then so forth and so on. All of these all the way to Hadeni Ruins. Stopping there where you're going to get your focus. No, that's guard. Well, guard won't be as important, but you can get guard. I think it's Tulane Forest where you get your focus. Yeah. You get your focus rune, and these are what you're going to do. You get your 3-star runes to start, and then you get your 4-star runes, and then you get the exacts. you get the exact main stats you need, because once you get this set for your main stats, then once you're ready to go into Kairos and go into these dungeons, you're able to shop for your substats. So all you're doing is replacing the runes that you have currently with better runes that do the exact same thing. And you should be able to jump into B5 almost instantly. And once you get that going, you'll jump going to B6 just that fast, rapid. And you farm B6, you're gonna start getting those 5-star rune drops and able to move into B7, where the only thing you're really worrying about is removing negative effects, if any of this makes sense. So now that we kind of got that out the way, we'll get into somewhat of, okay, then I gotta read my notes here, of now you got these monsters that you use what you have. You're already in farm for your light Inugami, you didn't farm for Bernard, and you didn't farm for Shannon. You got these monsters, or at least whatever close monsters replacements, like you might have. Like, you have Chisoon, so you got Chisoon kind of sort of replace Bella, then Bernard. You got different replacements, but we ain't getting all into the replacements for these monsters. We'll do that in a separate video. But now you need to just utilize the monsters you have. This is my current team. I use these monsters and solely these monsters. And I'm probably going to switch out my Ramahan and either use Konamiya or Lulu as my cleanser, so I can push into Giants B7, so I can have a consistent Giants B7 run. And I'm gonna use either one of those. I probably use Lulu because Konamiya is the most common use, and with this account I'm gonna do things a little differently. So I probably build on my Lulu, get my Lulu some decent runes, or whatever I might have laying around if I have anything decent, and put that together and make that work, so I can push into B7 and have a constant flow of B7, so I can get more 5-star runes and those occasional 6-star rune drops. And these are kind of some of the things that you want to do. You just got to make sure you're in the right placement. Just don't worry about those violet runes because it's not important. Swift is going to be more important for you to start anyway. You're going to want to have your monsters, you're going to want to have your supportive monsters on a Swift build to push in further. And you know what, let me just show my monsters runes again. There goes notifications on my phone. Like of course Bernard is going to always be on Swift. You're never going to take him off Swift because you want your Bernard to be as fast as possible. And then you're shopping for that speed and slot 2, which if you get your starter rune builds at Mount White Ragoon, you already have that. I did have my Bella on Violent because I was one of those people that thought like, yeah, I can just do on Violent. But when I started pushing in further and I noticed the rest of my monsters was having high 4-star and 5-star runes, and I still got these mostly 3 stars, a 2-star, and maybe 1 4-star rune on Violent, my Bella wasn't able to keep up and wasn't able to sustain long enough to even keep the rest of the team alive. So if my healer dying first and everybody else is okay, even my Soha doing a better job of staying alive than my healer, that tells you something. Maybe you need to work on something else, because I'm not capable of doing the Dragon's Dungeon on the level that my monsters are currently on. And this is the problem that we face, is we try to push in early and then we get stagnated. And if you do know a little something, you get a little further, but then you get stuck again because you're still trying to farm for runes that you don't need currently. You just don't need them. I mean, like, once you get into Violent, once you start really farming for Violent runes, that's just for you to really push into Necro, so you can go into your PvP stage, so you can do all the TOA and things of that sort. It's like once you get into that level to push into that mid-game range, because this is what we're trying to do. We're trying to get you early game players that's stuck into the mid-game. And it's important to have the right runes. And then another thing is, I highly recommend, when you complete Chiruka Remains, that's the final scenario map, which right here, if I can get over there, right? Once you complete this for the very first time, because it's Chiruka Remains and a few other places that I don't quite remember, you get rune builds, but you get your first 5-star rune build, and I recommend to everyone, if you haven't gotten this far yet, when you get your first 5-star rune build, get a fatal set. You get a fatal set because that's the only 4 set that you have, and 4 sets are more important than 2 sets because 2 sets is like a dime a dozen. You can make a 2 set here and there. 4 sets is hard to get the sub stats you need, and let alone the main stats to really suit what the monster does. Like, I've got a decent rune build just off of this 5-star set, and I used only a few of them. This one came from that set. This one. And this one came from that set. And I was lucky enough for it to mostly go into my crit rate and get my crit rate above the threshold that I recommend. And the threshold is like 60%. I mean, you can get away somewhere around the 50%, but I say shoot for 60% and higher. You really want to get as close as to 100% as possible. And my soul high is pushing at 76% right now, which is decent. And then I got a little crit damage, and I also got lucky from doing my giants runs to get a crit damage rune. It's a 4-star rune. It doesn't have the greatest sub stats, but it works for what I have because I was able to do the farming that was necessary, and I had this rune just sitting waiting to be used. So when I finally got this set, I was able to utilize that. And then this was one of the random drops I have. The sub stats are garbage, but it's a blade rune that has some crit rate on it and some crit damage, and it helps. And then I have a little speed to boot. Along with this one, this has also has some crit rate and some crit damage. Not the greatest runes, but it works for the level that I'm on, and that's the important thing, for you to get runes that going to work for your current level in the game. And I'm not going to make this video any longer. Once again, I hope this was helpful to you guys and get you guys into this mid game range. I know I don't play this account as much as I should, and I probably try to play this account a little more just to push it into mid game as I coach you guys and get you guys into this mid game range as well. So it's like you're going to see the growth of this account and the growth of yourself, because we're going to be doing the same things. At least I'm going to try to play this account. I'm not making any promises, but at least you guys be able to do the same things. And then I want to show off some of my friends' accounts who really don't play as much anymore, but I have access to their accounts, so I can like log in and just show some of what they have and what was going on their accounts before they stopped playing. And this is the Gamer Dude signing out. See you in the next vid. And once again, I hope you enjoyed and this was educational for you. If you like it, please do give it a like. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed already, because we're going to be pumping out more of these videos and getting you into the next level in Summoner's War. And I'm out. Deuces.